separate little pots
Yep.
because I feel I can keep an eye on them closer,
Yeah.
and also it stops any
Yeah.
more.
No, I mean you do right. I mean to be honest, I should have split these up yonks ago, or at least tried to take better care of them. Yeah, there's one. I can see one right in the corner, and it's already. Yeah, it's right next to its molt. Actually, I can see it. Yeah, so I can see. God, my eyes are so bad. Honestly, I've got to get to Specsavers, man, and I've got to get myself some like close, just some glasses so I can see.
Yeah,
'Cause, I'm like my dad now. I'm like that. I can't read anything that's closer than arm's length anymore. And I'm the same with the looking at stuff like this. I'm like this. I'm like this these days. God, I'm like such an old man. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I've got to go and get myself some like everyday like close range, shorts, reading glasses.
yeah.
I suppose is what it's what the old folk call them. Yeah, so I've got to get that sorted out. Anyway, I'll have a quick look now. In fact, I may as well feed them while I'm at it. 'Cause, to be honest, they do need feeding like twice as often as everything else that I feed. I've got like the slings and everything on a they're like on a 2 week cycle sort of thing. But the now I've got all these true spiders in here. I've got to. I need to start trying to do those every week at least. So, hi Claire, you all right? Good, good. We are officially chicken nuggets. So
We want a sick note.
yeah, I'm more of a. I think I'm more of a chicken wing kind of guy, chicken leg kind of guy than a nugget. To be honest.
I'm, dare I say it, a breast guy.
A breast guy. Well, yeah. I mean, right. Let's see what we've got. So one there next to its malt that I can see. There is one there that's not malted yet. There's one there that's. Yeah, I've got. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3. See, there's one eating another one right now as we speak. Yeah, yeah. So I've got 1, 2. Got 2, 3 that look like they've malted or a good size. There's another one there that's not malted. There's one in a web sack. Looks like it might be malting. Or is that just mold? I don't know. There's maybe 5 in there, and that's the big one. Oh no, sorry, that's a small one. There's maybe 5 in there. Hang on. Claire says she wants to stream for an hour. It took us an hour to notice she wasn't there. Oh my goodness. So sorry, Claire. What can I say? This is the big one, and unfortunately, I don't think there's even any in here. There's none moving around. So I've done a.
You've got a really. I've had to like pick out each individual piece of like bark and stuff off the floor. They have like little burrows.
Yeah, well, yeah, they might be more than meets the eye. There's one there in the corner. They are quite. There's the ones that are in here. There's a couple. They're pretty big, really fat. So
yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, I've just done a very poor job at stopping them from eating. Okay, so the more I keep looking, they're kind of starting to appear in front of my eyes. So that's 3. That's 3 that I can see. There might be a couple more. There's one down there. That's 4.
Ogna babies.
So there's 4 I can see. There might be a couple more that like you say, are just like tucked away somewhere. So there's 4. As far as I can tell, then I've maybe got about 8 or 9. I've done even worse than you. So yeah. But to be fair, I'll be honest, I kind of neglected mine a little bit during those hot. I was spraying them a little bit, but I don't think I was spraying them as diligently as I should have been. So yeah, these are the Hogner radiators, Claire. I don't know if you were around when I told the story of the orphaned Hogner babies that we had when Mum died, basically while they were still in an egg sac, still attached to her, and Mum died. So I incubated the egg sac, and it hatched, but we seem to have lost quite a few. Now I don't know whether that's just because it was bad timing, because like they hatched a couple of weeks out, didn't they? Before 2 or 3 weeks before we had the heat stroke for a week or two. So um, it can't be a coincidence that a lot died off after that. So, but also we're not sure at this stage whether or not it had something to do with the fact that they missed that cycle, that time period where they would normally be hanging out on Mum's back like wolf spiders do. So we're not sure. We've got 2 more egg sacs attached to living, breathing mums right now. So we're hoping if they go through the same cycle as what they should do, and Mum survives, and babies hatch out and they hang out on Mum's back like they do, we're hoping that might, if they survive better and there's less mortality, we might. It might be an indication that that time period where they hang out on Mum's back is critical to the strength and survival of the babies. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Maybe
interesting to see.
That's what we're thinking. We're not sure until the others, until the others hatch out and go through the correct life cycle of hanging out on Mum's back for however long they do. Probably till they've had a few feeds and maybe even molt. I don't know, like scorpions do.
So it's like where ladybird spiders have the die and the babies feed on mother.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it'd be the same as that. If you took that feed away, as in the mother, and then just tried raising them yourself.
Yeah.
With springtails or pre-killed, whatever, they'd probably start cannibalizing each other pretty quick. Whereas if they had the mother to feed on, they've got no reason to.
Yeah. Well, I guess their instinct is to just feed on the closest thing to them.
It's survival, isn't it?
The first available piece of prey, whatever. So, yeah. It's like Balforas, isn't it? We don't know about many other species, but I think we know that Balforas do. Mum pre-kills prey, doesn't she, and gives them to the babies, like when they when they first.
Which is what had happened with the wolf spider.
I imagine Mum kills stuff and then just lets them feed on the freshly killed prey. And I wonder if that's why Balforas are more susceptible to maybe not doing as well if you give them, when they first make slings, if you just give them live food, they don't tend to do as well as maybe a lot of other species, do they? I think they rely more on that freshly killed prey item.
Yeah, they do.
Right to begin with, don't they? I think so. More so than maybe other species.
It's only when they've got some size on them that they'll quite happily just go and get the food.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's all a learning curve, but we've done what we can. In the wild, you never know whether or not if those slings don't hang out on Mum wolf spider's back, you don't know that in the wild. If Mum dies, and the babies are left to fend for themselves, do they die off like more readily than like their brethren, so to speak?
Yeah.
So
interesting to see.
You can only imagine it's a beneficial situation, can't you? Really, otherwise, why would they do it? I don't know.
Well, yeah, because it's not like every species does it. It's something with wolf spiders.
I can't think of any other type of spider that does that. I mean, there probably is, but as far as I know, It's just the wolf spiders that do that.
Yeah.
So, Francis, you all right, buddy?
Upside X.
We were just talking about Balfour's and you weren't here.
That's why he came here, because you said
Oh,
Balfour.
yeah, he sensed it, didn't he? He's like, he sensed it, man. His spidey sense, his Balf senses were like tingling, man. And he was like, somebody's talking about Balfour. It be Gavin Mitch, I can tell, I can feel it. So he was here. I'm surprised Jaden's not here at all. Right, there you go, boys. Have some of that.
Got that Panay Blue male in with female at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Not much is happening at the moment.
Yeah, well, me too. I've actually. This is the first thing I've fed all day. I've been doing orders all day, basically. It's one of them days where orders just kept trickling in. So it's like every time I felt like I thought I'd nearly done, It's like get another order. It's like, oh, for God's sake, it's 11 o'clock yet. It's like, Jesus, I've still got loads to do. So yeah, I've literally only just sat down to start some feeding. To be honest, I usually sack Monday off a little bit now. You know, I don't worry too much about doing too much, but because I'm like basically talking more than I'm feeding these days, I'm slowly falling behind. So, hi Mandy, you all right? Hope you're well and had a good day. She did a big post drop this morning. Oh, posty. Yeah, well, it's Monday, man. Monday. I'm always like, yeah. Mondays are basically just usually on a Monday I spend the whole day doing orders because obviously you get more over the weekend and stuff. So
that's sad.
What's that? Oh no! Oh! I might know. I'll have a word with a couple of my contacts, Claire, because I do know a few people who don't like hang out in the whole Facebook kind of circles who you might not know. So I'll ask around. Oh, that's a shame. Don't you hate that? Hate that. It's weird because it's usually the males that go, isn't it? Not the females.
Yeah. Well, it's like what happened with Incy, innit?
Yeah.
I lost my email. That's why I had to get that one off you.
Yeah.
It's just
Maggot Monday.
Well,
Maggot Monday. Caster sorting. I don't do any of that nonsense, man. Sorting? What do you mean sorting? Just like take maggots out of fridge, put into a container, leave till flies appear. What is it to sort?
she sells them, doesn't she?
Does she sell them? Do you clean them and sell them on, sort of thing? Do you know what? I keep getting so many people ask me to if I'll start selling casters, and I've been resisting for years and years because I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. I've got enough on, messing about selling casters and stuff now, man. It's like, oh, so bad.
Mandy said one of those orders might have been her.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realise. You should have said. You should have said if I'd have known. I do remember sending a Mandy, but I just didn't think because obviously Mandy's are quite a common name. I get quite a few Mandys on the old go. Mandy Hewitt, you see, look there. I bet it is Mandy Hewitt. I just didn't twig. You see, the thing is, I'm flat out on a Monday. I wouldn't have been thinking. I'd have just been like, order, get the orders out, get it sorted. I'm like a million miles an hour on a Monday. So, sorry. What did you have? Was it the Devil's Flower that you ordered? Because I think I remember you saying you were interested. Sorry, I've got a pop-up in the way of the chat.
She put it in after 11, but asked for Wednesday sending.
Oh, there you go. No, it's still sat in me. No, if you asked for Wednesday sending, then yeah, I've not sent it. It'll be. I do remember there were one being. That's why I've not registered. Because all I'll have read is the note saying send on Wednesday, and I'll have just ignored all the information like name and who is it and stuff. So, oh, well, that's good. All right. You want another spiny? Okay, cool. There you go then. Sorted. Wednesday it is. Just split the bulk up into shed, turn to casters. Yeah. Fair enough. I know some people who sell casters and they wash them and all sorts, man. Put them into like little test tubes so they look really beautiful when they send them out. Sod that. I certainly, if I was selling casters, I certainly wouldn't be washing them. That's for sure.
Kelly at Cheeky Mantis, she sells them, doesn't she?
Who does?
Kelly at
Yeah, Kelly does. Yeah. So yeah. No, it's good. I mean, if I could, to be honest, I wish I could be bothered because a lot of people want them because obviously a lot of people only have. They're not like us. They don't have like millions of. I mean, I basically buy a pint of white maggots for blue bottles and a pint of pinkies for green bottles, and I buy them like once every 3 or 4 weeks, and I get through both pints in like 4 to 5 weeks. Whereas most people obviously only need like a couple of dozen or last them bloody weeks and weeks. So, and you can only get, for online places, you can only get either pint or, if you're lucky, half pint. You can't usually get any less. So people rely on people like Kelly selling them. So I wish I could be bothered, but because I know people would appreciate it, but I just can't be arsed. I've got too much on. So I always say, get down to your local fishing tackle shop. Get them to just give you a hand. Tell them to just give you a handful. Done. Probably charge you a couple of quid and all.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah, cool. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, Claire, because, people, it's like, and also people who have jumping spiders, obviously, as you know, in your world, they come in really handy because even though jumpers they'll take a lot of different prey items, they do prefer flies more than anything else. Just because they're really active, aren't they? And it gives them a little bit of a, I think they like a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I once watched one of our zebra ones outside at Church Wall when I worked at the cemetery. Take down. Had they long legs?
Take down the long legs.
Yeah, Jimmy
Spinners.
Right.
Yeah, cool. They.
It were impressive. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this when I did that jumping spider stream. They're one of the few spider species that will tackle prey like up to twice their own size.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fearless.
Balls, yeah.
Chomel Rufilata. All right, cool. Well done. That's a good haul. That's a good, some good finds there, dude. Well done. Don't come back till you find what we want. Yeah, well done, dude. Good job.
That Bomba Horrid is what used to be Bocala or whatever it was. You didn't even hear that, did you?
No, sorry, what? I heard you say something, but...
Yeah, that Bomba Horrida. It's what used to be... That, is it Bocala? Buckler. Something like that.
Oh no. I need to see it written. Oh, Bumble Holiday. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll take your word for it, dude.
You were on about them to me a couple of weeks ago.
I
I
was.
think I had the same conversation then. I think it says it's got name change.
Oh yeah, was this the recent name change? Is that what you were referring
No, that were a different one. That's
to?
the Grammar Stall
Yeah.
Rose.
I thought it was a Grammar Stola one. Yeah.
I think basically the gist of it is that the portery is just like almost like a subspecies of rosé.
Yeah.
But this is like what you were on about with the Paul Cripes, Queer Guy.
Yeah. And the
There's
other
another
one.
one.
I've forgotten what it was now. But yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to know.
Serious attitude, these buggers. Cancerides.
Oh, okay.
They try to eat me every time. And it's the male that's worse than the female as well. Proper attitude.
Oh, finally, me. I'm starting to get a bit worried about me. Me Asiadonis, me gravid female. She, I cleaned her out yesterday, get her a spruce up, totally doused her enclosure and everything, tried to give her a bit of a humidity shock, and she just wouldn't. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't eat anything, and then for the last 48 hours, she's basically just been stood on the ground, just not moving. There's been like flies in there for 2 days, about 6 blue bottles, all just like buzzing around. She's just like not done anything, and I was starting to think she was just gonna peg it basically. But today, I noticed I spotted a couple of fly legs on the tissue on the bottom that she'd obviously eaten a fly. There's still a couple left, so she's eaten at least 2. But she's now moved up to the side of the enclosure, so there's still a bit of hope.
Yeah.
I've no idea what's going on. I don't think. I've got a feel. I'm just not feeling it. I've got a feeling she's not going to make it, lay anything or make it. To be honest, so I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit doubtful.
I didn't fully understand it, if I'm honest with you, Francis, because I'm quite simple. But it were Martin Lees that's shared the actual article, the paper. If you want to have a gander.
Yeah, I've not found that yet. I need to go and have a look. But yeah, because it's always interesting to find out why they've changed the name.
I think the term was a junior of rosé.
For what? Sorry.
A junior of rosé. But
no. See, we need to learn this. We need to learn this shit, man. Find out what's going on.
They always have big words in them.
Yeah. You just need to get into the habit of reading the papers, man. It'll come, eventually. Once you, it's just a whole new language, isn't it, that you've got to learn?
Yeah, but then I learn a big word and then I go around for days just saying that big word. If it sounds funny. It's exactly what happens.
Yeah, well, this is what we were saying the other day when we were talking about it, Claire. We were saying let's just not bother learning anything else. Wait about until everything's been changed, and then we'll learn it all.
Got a phone somewhere. It's fine in there, Steph. Bet you didn't hear me, did you?
Oh.
My phone in there. Oh no, I found it.
Oh, we're outside, sorry. Okay.
Is that the link to the paper?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cheers. I'll have a look at that later.
Probably, Claire. Probably.
What's she saying? Sorry, I keep getting this Norton pop-up. It's blocking me.
Caribbean versus colour were having.
Yeah, it was. They changed it a few years ago, I think. Yeah. You can see why. You can see why they thought it was an AV. They're very similar, aren't they? Really.
Yeah.
In many ways. So, but again, it'd be interesting to know why they've changed it. You know, I mean, obviously, it's as biology kind of like evolves, and our understanding of what the differences are between different sets and groups of animals and things like that. It's
Sometimes we like teas. It's just simply the shape of spermica.
yeah. Well, often sexual organs are a way of determining differences between.
I think that's how they managed to re-identify Smithy,
Yeah.
Brachypelma Smithy.
Yeah.
Through its genitalia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how everything's classified now, isn't it? All species are classified through the genitalia thing. But obviously, initially, splitting things into the different genus, as opposed to, not before they get down to the nitty gritty of the actual species, they, it's mainly just done on physical attributes.
On what you see, innit? Yeah.
Observations, locations, body shape, and just basic things really. But obviously, back in the day, that's all they had to go on. That's why they're changing everything, aren't they? Now,
yeah.
They've got more microscopic ways of determining species differentiation. So.
I don't think they're too bad of a job, though, to be fair, with what they had at the time. It's mental when you look at like some of the stuff that is still unchanged.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I guess with some certain genuses it's more obvious, isn't it? You know, the characterization, the anatomical characterization of how you put certain individuals into the same genus, they're more obvious than others, aren't they? I think it just depends. So.
Also depends on what's studied more as well, innit? Because it's like the understanding of moths and butterflies, for instance, is well known, and it was going on long before these people were traveling to like Brazil and to Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, way back when
it was the original thing collecting, wasn't it? Like,
well, it's it stems all the way back to Darwin, really, to the and even before Darwin. I mean, Darwin was the first person to like kind of truly start to classify a lot of species. But people were doing that way before him.
Yeah. It used to be a pastime of reverends.
Yeah. People with no better to do, really. Reverends and aristocrats and things like that. People who had time and money on their hands, basically.
And I think that's what Darwin's dad did.
Yeah, Darwin's dad was a doctor.
Who collected moths and butterflies.
Yeah, he actually there was a bit of it's all a bit weird. Old Darwin's dad was Esmerus, I think his name was. He was he was a bit messed about with his. They had a bit of incest going on and all sorts of stuff going on there. It was all a bit weird. But then again, that was quite commonplace in them days.
Yeah, no wonder he wanted to sort out the
yeah.
evolution.
But yeah. But Darwin was a geologist originally. When he was on the Beagle, his primary job was to map out the coastlines. They were going around because obviously that's what they did back in the early days.
Yeah.
Sailed around and they just mapped out coastlines to discover. Just basically, and I mean it's amazing, really, when you look at some of these old maps from like 15th, 16th century sort of thing. They're so accurate still to this day.
Yeah.
Still really accurate, and you just think they had no real technology other than a really crappy kind of telescopes. Well, not crappy. They were great in the day, but compared to nowadays, they the amount of detail and accuracy that they managed to map out these things. So that's what Darwin was originally there for. He was a geologist by trade. It was only while he was out on the boat that he started noticing all the different flora and fauna, and he just took an interest. Just started collecting it and documenting it, drawing pictures and cataloguing everything, sort of thing. Just because that's just the way his brain was. He just found it all fascinating. It's funny that he was the work he did on the Beagle was actually in the end it was the stuff he did as a pastime that became more prevalent in history than what he actually was supposed to be there to actually do in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
What? No, because where it's lessened. You're not older. Can't get out though.
Oh, there you go. Satan's home. Got the game ready for bed. Is that Jay? All right, Claire. See you later. I'm not going to be hanging out too much longer myself. Going to get some dinner on in a bit. I need to rehouse these. I need to rehouse this Tamalopalopalopper, and no, actually I don't. I forgot. I've not actually paired that Tamalopper, have I? She ate him.
Yeah.
And I need to put this other male in with her. If he's still alive, he's pretty old. He's a pretty old man by now. But yeah, the Rombadero, I need to rehouse her and get the other male and female in there. Get them done and get cracking. Got so many things to pair up. Pair of Rombadera, pair of Hirogula Golden, me Congo greens, auroras, majusculars, tomalopalopas. Jeez, what else? Oh, Cooley. I think that's it.
Just a couple then.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you, did I? Me next in line male Asiododis died. He was like ready. He was going to be ready this week. I was going to pair him this week.
Oh, that's crap.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gutted. I went to feed him yesterday and he was dead. I was like so annoyed. Yeah, he literally had like, he was like 3 weeks old. He literally had a couple more days left and I was going to pair him. So I'm really annoyed. I've got another fresh male, but he's not going to be ready now. He's not going to be ready for about another 2.5 weeks. So I'm going to be treating him like gold dust. I might put him in a nicer enclosure just in case. And then I've got another male that's sub-adult who's like about another couple of weeks away from being adult yet. So yeah, but all my females are like, they're all mature now. So yeah, so I've got a feeling this female I've got already paired who's like playing silly buggers and not laying an ooth, she might be my last hope. But we'll see. We will see what we will see. Oh, I really need to rehouse all these jumping spiders at some point. Still all in sling pots, and some of them are quite big now. I might do that on Saturday. I mean, on Wednesday. Did you get the? I forwarded on the. Who was it? Who was it? Let me think. I forwarded on an Instagram profile to you. Did you get it? I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was. What's it? Oh God, we've learnt so many new names recently. I've forgotten what her name is. Danielle.
Oh, yeah.
She she messaged me a couple of pictures of her frogs. So and I saw that she'd followed me. So I wasn't sure if she'd followed you or not. So
I've followed her now.
I just sent on the profile. I've just realised I've not made a post yet today. I'm trying my hardest to make a post every day. Yeah, I've got a bunch of unknown species that I've not looked into yet. I bought a load from Lee when he had those South African jumpers varieties, like 3 or 4 different types. I bought a load off him then, Mandy, which I've still got here, but they've all grown on a little bit now. So I need to rehouse them and ID them basically, so I can work out if I've got any pairs or what I've got or what species they are and stuff like that. So I've basically just been leaving them alone for a while because they were quite tiny when I bought them. So but I've lost a few, to be fair, but the ones that are doing well, they've all grown on a little bit now, molted at least 2 times now since I've had them. So they're all getting ready to be upgraded. I bought a load of new 12-ounce slush pots in. So I think I'm going to rehouse all those. I might do that on Wednesday for the stream, and I'll need to rehouse these others which I've still forgotten. I've got some Phidippus Sorora, and what was the other? There was geez, I didn't read it very well. You seem to know what it was, and I forgot what it was.
I didn't hear what you said because it went.
Oh, sorry. Is it? Am I back? Am I back
Yeah,
in?
you're back now.
Yeah. So the two species that I got in just the other day, I got Sorora, Phidippus Sorora, and what was the other one that you seem to? I fluffed the name. I couldn't read the name properly, but you seem to know what I was saying, so you seem to know what it was, and I can't remember what species it was.
Can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, it's another species. It's another Phidippus from a different region. Let me see.
Oh, is it was it Audax? Or
No, not Audax. Hang on, I'll find it. Try and find it. So I need to write it down anyway, so I know what I've got. Put it in the book, so I remember to start feeding them. Because if they don't go in the book,
oh,
fed.
it's the apple.
So I'll find it in a sec.
Somewhere or other. That says,
Appala-
it'll be like from somewhere like Appalachian Mountains.
yeah. Appalachica. Appalachica. I'm not really sure how you say it. Anyway, I've got nine Sorora and four Appalachica, basically. Appalachicola, I think they are.
Yeah, I think that's how it. Because I had a look afterwards, and that is like
Anyway,
how it reads.
there you go, Mandy. I've got about 15, 16, maybe more of some unknown South African species from Lee, and I've also got some Sorora, Phidippus Sorora, and the Appalachicola, which I'm probably completely butchering the name, but that's what I've got written down. So yeah, got some of those as well, and I've got more of those coming in because I've only got 9 of one and 4 of the other. But I've been promised that once they've molted another time, a lot of them were in molt, so I'm going to get more of those. And also, I'm getting some Blue Mountain. I think it's Blue Mountain. That other. I'm struggling to keep up with all these new region, all these new Phidippus from the various regions.
We're talking about Blue Mountain in
It's
chat.
super, yeah, it's super exciting though. Let's see if I was told what I was gonna get. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, some. So I'm getting some more Appalachicola and some Blue Mountains next. So that'll be cool. Yeah, it's nice getting quite a few different jumpers in now. I've got me Carolinsis coming on nicely. Those juveniles are all growing on nicely now. So I've got 2 or 3 pairs of those coming through. So they should be ready next month, I reckon, maybe. And then obviously I've got my Hylas, which I've got my next generation coming through, and my Phidippus Regis, obviously, which are kind of like my staple. I've had them for years and years and years. Just keep them going all the time because everyone loves a Phidippus Regis one. So yeah, so there you go. So I'm just slowly like getting back into jumpers around. I used to be a lot more into jumping spiders like several years ago. Even before I started doing teas and stuff, I was always into my jumping spiders, and I had quite a lot of really cool species back in the day. But this last year or so, I've just started like slowly getting more species of jumpers in again now. Jumping on the bandwagon, basically, it's gone mad jumping spiders. So yeah, and also I miss having lots of nice cool jumping spiders because let's face it, they're awesome. Oh, what's Monday saying? Critic Cam on Wednesday. Yeah, should be getting back on track with the Wednesday and Saturday evening lives in the shed. So that means Critic Cam back on the go again. And if I'm doing jumping spiders, well, it's always a bit hit and miss when you try and get some macro with jumping spiders, but we'll try. I'm tempted to. I'm almost tempted to break out the MPE 65mm, you know, for Critic Cam. The old the beast,
Yeah.
the beast macro lens. It's like goes up to 5 times. It's a right piece, but it's tricky to control, especially when you've not got like a proper stable setup.
Yeah, it's a slight nudge.
It's proper intense, but you don't need to go all the way down to 5. It's just that obviously the option's there if you want to go down. So I haven't used it for about 5 years. It's just been sat in the drawer. Just it's quite intimidating, really. So, yeah. Oh yeah, were you there for that jumping spider live then, Mandy? Where I did the macro Critic Cam on the male and the female Carol. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think you were there, weren't you? I think I remember now.
As are all Critic Cams.
I think Mandy and Charlotte were both spewing a little bit that I'd pinched all the Carols from under their noses.
Yeah.
Not bad. But don't worry, I'm taking good care of them. They're all coming along nicely. So.
And then he's going to keep all of them.
I am keeping them all. There's one really lively one now. Right now, he's just out and about. Looks like a male. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people who wouldn't generally go near spiders, but obviously jumping spiders just seem to have they just seem to have their own. They have their own. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Well, it's not strange. It's quite. It's not surprising, really, is it? When you see them up close. But yeah.
And I've still not owned one.
Have you still not got one?
No.
Are you bothered?
Yeah, I do want to own jumpers at some point. It's just I've never actually got round to getting one.
Well,
I mean, I have my ladybird spiders. That close.
Actually, I'll sort you out a pair of these P. Regis, dude, if you want them. Then you can just because I'm going to be keeping once I've split them up. I'll keep 2 or 3 pairs for myself. So I'll sort you out a pair if you want of male and female P. Regis, just as like a nice little stepping stone sort of thing. And then once these Hylas have grown on again as well, I'll be doing the same. But I'll probably keep all these Hylas So
Just
I'll.
so you can try and get a good
Yeah,
steady
well,
flow.
I've not got that many really. I've only got, I think I've only got about a dozen of these Hylas. So
They're not always available, are they? So
no, exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is, they become available, but they only become available from Lee.
Yeah.
As like sub-adults or larger individuals. So you don't see them very often, which is strange, really. You don't see them very often for sale as babies, do you? Really? Which is I don't know. I don't really know why that is.
but like we were saying last night, that's part of your journey with spider, mantis, any invert is having it from a younger age so that you can
Yeah. I mean, I often get people when they're messaging me about what stock I've got and stuff, and they often, a lot of people, it just depends. Some people prefer a more grown on individual, just because they don't want to mess about with fruit flies, whereas other people, they want the youngest possible nymph that I've got because they want to watch its progression from as early as possible. I mean, I even get people asking me if they can have a first install, which I never do.
Yeah.
I never send them out. I mean, I could send it out and just say, on your head be it, but I have to think about the invert, not the person. It's their needs come first. So unless somebody wants to come and get it, which obviously I don't really advocate these days. Well, I've never really been an advocate of it. Really.
Yeah.
I've never really. I've only ever allowed one or two people to come and collect, and now I don't. But that's only if I know them through somebody else. You know what I mean? Or I know them directly. Then just random strangers, customers, so to speak. I don't allow them to come. Some people want. I get people asking me to come round if they can just come round and like have a look round, like it's some kind of like it's some kind of zoo. People are like, can we come round and just like, do you let people come round and look at your stuff, like so we can just like come round? I'll bring, my kids would really love it. It's just like,
no, this is my safe haven.
It's like, no, this is my home. Go away.
It's different with Christoph.
What do you mean? Oh,
whenever he meets somebody, he always tells them to come and you'll come and have a look at all my tarantulas.
Yeah. Yeah, which is weird. None of that.
You just feel so small coming out, don't you? Just being pure awe.
Well, yeah. You say that, but if you were to buy a sling, oh mind you, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to say what why I'm going to think differently. But I the way I see it is, it's like if you buy a sling and let it grow up. As it grows, you'll get more and more used to the spider sort of thing. So as it develops, you'll get you'll be able to. It won't be such a shock every time once it's big, so to speak. You kind of get used to seeing it. It's like seeing your kid grow up. It's not
you don't notice the growth difference, like
exactly. So
see someone for a few
whereas if you just went out and bought like a big juvenile or an adult tarantula right from the get go, you'd just shit your pants, wouldn't you? You won't want anything to do with it. But having said that, when we were speaking to Kelly at the IHS, not the last one, I think the one before, and we were talking about how like she's just getting rid of all the tarantulas because she got loads and loads of tarantulas, like wanting to get into tarantulas and breeding and stuff, and then she realised she realised how big they get when they all start really big. They just at me, them all. I just like, which I found really surprising because I just thought, you know, it's not like she's kind of like a newbie to keeping
No,
beavers.
no.
I was just surprised that she. I was just shocked that she'd not realised how big they get. It's like I think what she really meant. Well, I know we were taking the mickey out of her, but I think what she really meant is she didn't appreciate their size until she had them like in her
I
own
don't think
collection.
a lot of people are the same.
Yeah, it's like when you see a picture of something, you just don't appreciate the sheer
No, no.
presence or size of something, dear, until you have it. You know, until you see it in person. So
I mean, you see a lot of them like they'll share like a picture of it'll be like a 4-inch tarantula, and yeah, that's quite big. But they'll be like, oh, geez, it's massive. But that's like they can get way bigger than that, and it's when you start thinking about that,
yeah,
which is probably what happened with Kelly.
yeah. So, what's Francis saying? Oh, right. Said it's a spider. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, people just don't. I think a lot of people just who aren't in the hobby, they think of spiders and they just think of, like, our own native
Yeah,
spiders, orb weavers, house spiders. And that's why people are really, like, shit the bed when they see, like, a massive house spider running past. Not just because it's, like, running past, but people don't realize how big they even get.
yeah. Some of those males, man.
You know what I mean? They get really big. But then obviously compared to like, huntsmans and tarantulas, they're just that are like the size of a dinner plate. You just don't people just don't realise that spiders
Well,
can grow so big.
it's like my tea sturmy. I mean, it's huge, but it's nowhere near its adult size. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not going to even fit in a 30 by 30 EXO, which is what it's in at the moment. I'll have
Yeah.
to upgrade it to a. I've got another one of those Komodos.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
go in there.
Yeah, that's a they're like 45, aren't they? By 45, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, will that be big enough for it for a
that'll be bigger, yeah.
yeah.
But
So they
again, I'll probably, as it grows, I'll have to change again. I'll end up in like a fish tank.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost not practical to have them, is it? Really, not when you've got like so many other things going on, because they just take up way too much space.
It's monsters.
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a novelty having one in your collection, isn't it? Really, because they're just so big compared to like other species. I mean, how big are they like the biggest? Are they or one of the biggest?
Yeah, yeah.
They are,
So
aren't they?
you're talking, well, like you said, like a proper dinner plate,
Yeah.
if not bigger.
Yeah.
Well, like I think the largest one, like 27 or 28 or something centimeters. That is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just taking the mick in it. That I mean, if that gets out in your house, what are you going to do? I mean, just going to leave home.
Well, you're gonna wear it coming, aren't you?
I mean,
Let's face it. That's gonna be like a cat.
that's just a beast, isn't it? I mean, for God's sake. So is yours male or female?
Female.
Okay. I mean, what are your chances of even getting a male later down the line? I mean, because you don't see them for sale very often, do you?
Yeah,
Really?
at the moment, a lot more people have got them. Like as time goes on, more and more people are getting them. Plus, there's been a lot of like grown on slings. to juveniles that have come back into hobby.
Yeah.
10
Well,
to 11 inches in leg span.
Yeah, I mean that's just 11 inches, man. That's ridiculous.
All right.
I mean, yeah, it's like
Probably. Right. We're here.
well, 12 inches is 30 centimeters, which is obviously the standard size of a mesh pop up or an exoterra. That's 30 centimeters, which is 12 inches. So
So,
yeah, I mean, it's just
silly, isn't it? Same with LPs, though. LPs get a fair old size.
yeah, true.
Yeah, I reckon you could probably wear it as a face hugger, Mandy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, face hugger is the first thing that comes to mind, really, isn't it? That's like, because anyone who's ever seen Alien, it's the first thing they think of when they think of anything like that, really, isn't it? you just shit your pants. Yeah. So anyway, what was Mandy saying? The same as a mantis. Purposely pick the smaller ones. Shoot myself. When right. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, LPs 9 to 11 inches.
Yeah.
Most only being 8 to 9.
Yeah. I mean,
These are like the extremes of.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the ones that they tend to be like most things. Things tend to be larger in the wild, don't they? These, a lot of these measurements have been recorded before people started. Before when they were just like spotted in the wild, sort of thing.
Yeah.
When they were being catalogued in the wild, so they're bound to be much larger. Everything's going to be, not always, but a lot of things are going to be smaller in captivity, aren't they? Especially the longer you keep you keep them, and the generation
because
go through the generation.
Through evolution, they will adapt to the surroundings they're being kept in. So
yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about this a lot with mantis, haven't we? I actually deliberately sometimes, depending on which species it is, I deliberately keep some species females in smaller containers because they'll grow to the size of their environment, a bit like fish do. They'll keep growing and growing if you keep them in a bigger tank. But if you grow certain species of mantis up, especially hierodulus, you can do this to hierodulus quite well actually. You can make the females smaller by basically just keeping them in smaller pots. I know it doesn't sound good, but you can do it. Whereas if you keep, you could essentially keep two individuals of the same species in different sized containers, and you'll get one larger than the other. It's pretty. It's definitely doable.
you showed me that female, didn't you?
Yeah, you can do that just. Yeah, you can do that just in all in an individual's lifetime. It's not like you're putting pressure on the genes through the generations by keeping many generations of individuals in small pots in order to force them, evolutionary speaking, genetically to.
You're just doing it gradually throughout.
Just do it to a single individual in its lifetime, and it will grow accordingly to the size of its enclosure. So yeah, I do it. I know it sounds horrible, but I do it on purpose sometimes, just because, mainly because I want to put a little bit less pressure on the males when it comes to breeding.
Some of them are a bit savage.
Well, you know, some
Especially
some
size
females
difference.
grow absolutely massive compared to males, and you know, you can if you can just reduce the size of the female slightly, it can make all the difference. So, but yeah, but it doesn't always work. Some species, it's just got no chance of doing anything like that too, like macromantis and the tamalopers. They didn't succumb to pressure at all. They were all absolutely ginormous, even though I kept them all in deli pots right up until they
Yeah.
were adult, pretty much. So, so yeah. But yeah, it's fascinating, really. And I imagine you could do. I imagine it's the same with like spiders and stuff as well. You know, you could pressure them into keeping the size down.
Yeah.
I imagine it's quite a common thing.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because if you think about it, if you're living in a smaller, if you're say you're in the wild, if you happen to find yourself in a very small environment that's not got much in the way of it's not rich in nutrition, um, in order to survive that environment, you're gonna grow. You're not gonna grow as big as what you could be, because like if the bigger you are, the more you need to eat and the more nutrients you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to fuel that body size. So if your environment is forcing you into being smaller, if that means you don't need to take on as much nutrition, so therefore you don't need to rely on the food source around your environment, then it makes perfect sense, really.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I'm going to. Time is it? 20 past 6. I'm going to finish these and then I'm going to wrap things up, guys. Just so everyone knows. Everyone's been a bit quiet. I think we're probably just running in the background. We're probably just running in the background for a few people while they're like pottering about doing stuff, listening to us man waffling on about pretending like we know about evolution and shit. Just
They
thinking, what these two guys, man, they don't know what they're talking about.
fly. I wonder if that's the case within Balfouric communals. If they kept if they live in a communal all their life, are they prone to grow to a smaller size
Well,
than if you had like a female that lived on her own?
I mean, it's quite possible, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see what some of the guys who you know, like Francis and
Yeah, Francis will know whether it's
Francis and you know and Jaden and Amy. You know, I bet they've all got insight into comparisons between communal species and individuals kept on their own. I mean, I would imagine. I suppose it depends if you put enough food in there. And there's enough space, I don't really see why they wouldn't grow to their full potential.
yeah, but if you didn't give them massive space,
If you kept the environment down, if you kept the amount of space down and didn't maybe feed them as much as they want, as opposed to as much as they need, then yeah, it's quite likely.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, here we go. It's hard to say unless you grow them all up from slings rather than
Yeah,
buying them as
yeah,
large
that's what I imagine. Unless you actually do the experiment, you know, it's you're probably not going to notice it. So. But
Well, Francis will be able to do it.
yeah, I mean, I definitely would say that as well. I think I've never actually done this, but what I was saying earlier about growing the females up in smaller enclosures to make them so that they didn't grow as large. I don't know whether or not you need to put pressure on them right from the get go as young nymphs. Like if you were to like keep a nymph in a larger enclosure, and then when it's reached about like fifth or sixth instar, then start putting pressure on it to be
That's not going to do it any good.
I'm not sure whether that would work relative to keeping a nymph constantly in a small enclosure at every stage of its life.
Because it's done gradual in it, so
I think you got it. I think
grow a little bit.
Yeah,
less each time.
I think you've got to give it time. I don't think you can just near the end. I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the obvious experiment. It's just curious as to whether or not it's something you'd done already. But yeah.
Just get your brain thinking, though.
Yeah, no, it's all interesting stuff. Obviously, yeah, not as yet. So there you go. Sort for you to do, Francis. Like you ain't got enough on. Yeah, Mandy says keep similar to keeping the temperatures low and slow growth. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, what you're doing there is obviously it's you are blatantly slowing down development because that's what I do here. I don't do it deliberately. I just keep. I don't give any of my inverts any external temperatures. Anything apart from in the shed. I keep a thermostatically controlled heater in the shed just to stop it from dipping below certain temperatures in the evenings. But that's it.
It's different in the house, though, isn't it?
I don't give any species any special amount of heat or anything like that. That's why we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? Where like I often get people messaging me saying, "Oh, look, have you got any males or have you got a male to go with my female?" It's like she's a lovely adult, and if that's come from the same batch as what I've kept behind myself, mine are usually like 2 or 3 malts behind everybody else's, just because I don't feed mine excessively. I don't give them any extra heat, so I definitely slow down the development of all mine.
You need to do that with yours,
but yeah, that's just because I have to. So
otherwise, before you knew it, you'd end up with a load of adults that were just surplus.
Yeah. So and also it works. It works that way because obviously it takes time to sell everything on. I mean, I very rarely have anything that grows beyond fourth or fifth instar tops. Everything sells before then, but that's just because I feed them. Like I feed mine first and second instar get fed every few days, but after that, between second and fourth instar, they get fed once every 7 days, and then if they manage to be around longer than after fourth instar, sometimes they don't get fed for like 9-10 days, but they're perfectly fine because I give them plenty. You see, I chuck loads of flies in there, so they get really fat, so they just don't need feeding. So
naturally in the wild, they would like as soon as they found a food source, they would gorge themselves.
Exactly.
And
I mean, this is why they're built to be able to swell so much because they've evolved to be able to gorge out on prey because obviously you never know when that next meal's coming. So,
exactly.
So Mandy, it's exactly the same. Keeping those temperatures low and then feeding them more sparsely slows down their development definitely. I always tell people, I encourage people to feed them less. The problem is a lot of people who buy mantis, they any invert, but especially mantis, they want to see it feed. So a lot of people just they end up feeding either prey that's quite big because they think naturally they want to see it take down a massive locust or something.
Yeah.
That's what they've got it for, partially anyway. So I tend to actively encourage people to try and feed their mantis less, really, because obviously one of the main things a lot of people worry about is overfeeding, but also the longevity of the lifespan. People really worry about amount of messages I get from people saying, my mantis is an adult. Is it going to die next week? It's like people just really worry that their mantis is going to die within like a few weeks of either laying an ooth or becoming an adult. You know, oh, I've heard they die really quickly after they've made adults. It's like, it's just not true. Depending on what species it is, of course. But so I encourage people. I say, look, yes, relatively speaking, a mantis doesn't live as long as a lot of other animals. You know, maybe 1 to 2 years tops from birth to adult. But if you want to extend that, and in actual fact, it's actually beneficial for the mantis to not be fed as often. I think they do better. I personally, just from experience, I feel like mantis are healthier when they're fed less, basically, um, and you know it increases their lifespan. It takes longer for them it takes longer between molts.
Yeah.
And they still have the same number of malts to get through. It's just that the time between the malts is extended. So yeah, it's
Evening, Joffy.
it's a win-win all round, really. Hi, Joffy, you all right, buddy? We're actually not far off. I'm going to pack up soon because it's 6:30 and I've not eaten yet.
Tarantulas, it goes other way. You end up with like breeders that'll power feed them just to get them bigger. Thinking,
Yeah,
well,
you know,
if it's
I mean,
bigger, the worth more.
yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I can imagine, man.
But you're going to end up with an unhealthy specimen, then, are you? It's just because then you're going to buy it and then you're going to feed it appropriately, and it's a sudden crash in what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because, you know, some people just have a completely, what I would consider a really warped sense of like what they want out of their invert. You know, it's just, you know, I try not to think about it really.
Just let it do its natural process. It's so much more fun.
You know, some people like they want to see their invert take down like really huge prey, so they'll feed it really inappropriately sized like prey items, won't they? As well, you know, it's a real concern. It's like I really try not to, even though I like to feed all my inverts before I send them out. Every now and again, they're like a little bit overfed, so I have to put a little notice on the lid, basically just saying "Do not feed" for like 6 or 7 days.
I once had one, and it was like "Do not feed" for 7 days.
Whereas some people will just take that on the chin, whereas other people will just be like, they'll message me and be like, "What's wrong with it? Why can't I feed it?" It's like, I bought it so I could watch it feed. Yeah, but hang on, you know, just chill. I'm not. If you feed it anymore, it is going to explode. So I do try to. It's a fine line between giving them something to eat before they go, and but also making sure that I've not fed them too much, because obviously, you know, I'm totally like sensitive to the fact that people, when they first buy something like this, first thing they want to do is watch it feed.
Yeah.
So you know, it's so you get your new pet. You know, you've got your new pet mantis. First thing you're confronted with is a message saying "Do not feed for 7 days." It's like, what?
I mean, you can't blame them, because that's part of
absolutely.
That's the part of the lure with mantis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Feeding.
So I do try to avoid that situation, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. But you know, more often than not, I avoid that situation, and more often than not, I end up just feeding it enough like food so that I know it's had something, and if something does happen, like in the post, and it gets stuck for 5 or 6 days, I know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you don't want to feed it so much that you want it to be in such a state that when the person receives it, they can feed it straight away, and it's not going to be overfed immediately, you know, sort of thing. So
yeah, because let's face it, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, so it's just another consideration as a breeder and a seller to think about. I mean, you know, I can't speak for everyone, but that's one of a long list of considerations that I like to maintain certain standards on.
Yeah, but you have to, don't you? Because I mean, you've got to say, I mean, it's your business end of the day, and if people like start overfeeding them from start,
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
they're like, "Oh, well, you sent me a mantis.
Yeah,
must be
exactly.
wrong with
That's
it."
that's the main thing, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
yeah. If they overfeed it and then it just like throws up brown crap all over the place and then has a fall and it splits its side and it's dead within 24 hours of receiving it from me, I'm the one who's going to get it in the neck. Okay, so, you know. Right, I think I'm going to call it a day, folks. For now, I'm going to go and get some dinner on. So,
Oh, you know what I'm having?
what you having?
Leftover Pizza Hut.
Excellent, excellent. I'm having leftover stir fry that I made last night, and
Things always taste better day after.
always.
It's what when we were on about pasta bake, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
it's like pasta bake, it always tastes so much nicer day after.
everything's usually, most things are usually, because they marinate, don't they, for like however long, you know. So most things always taste better when they've been left. Sometimes if I'm making like a stew or a chili or you know something like that, I'll make it and then I won't eat it. I'll deliberately leave it at 24 hours just to like marinate in itself a little bit because then it's just got that extra element of flavor to it. So yeah. Right. Right, everybody. I'm going to get going. I might be back again, like you know, around about 9-10 o'clock or whatever. I don't know yet. So if you're around, come and say hi. And thanks to everyone for tuning in and having a bit of a chat. Nice one, guys. Enjoy your evening. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.